How money printing works, how money is made. Since the Sumerians started utilizing metal coins instead of trading with barley at least 3000 BC, money has existed as a means of purchasing or selling goods and services. Although paper money was first used in China in the 7th century, its erratic value, compared to the more widely acknowledged value of gold or silver coins, caused massive inflation and state bankruptcies. We'll discuss the manufacturing of money in this video, specifically discussing raw materials. When it comes to creating paper money, the raw materials are just as crucial as the production method. To give it the right texture, the paper, often referred to as the substrate, is a unique mixture of 75% cotton and 25% linen. For visual identification, it has tiny red and blue fiber segments strewn throughout. The paper used for $10 bills and larger denominations was constructed from 2 plies with a polymer security thread bonded in between starting in 1990. In 1993, the thread was added to $5 bills. This thread cannot be replicated in photocopiers or printers. It is only visible when the banknote is held up to a light source. To create particularly thick printing inks, dry colored pigments are combined with oils and extenders to create the inks. Paper money is called greenbacks because the front of the bills are printed in black ink and the backs are printed in green ink. Using standard printing inks, the colored seals and serial numbers on the front of the bill are printed separately. Every denomination note has its front and back designs meticulously crafted by engravers, who work from sketches or photos. Every engraver is in charge of a certain area of the design. For example, one engraver may handle a portrait, another the numerals, and so on. Depending on the denomination, each bill has a different facial portrait. The $1 bill features George Washington, the $5 bill features Abraham Lincoln, and the $100 bill features Benjamin Franklin. These individuals were chosen because of their historical significance and the general public's familiarity with their pictures. It is illegal for a living person's picture to be on banknotes. Congress enacted a law in 1955 mandating that the phrase "In God We Trust" be printed on all coins and banknotes in the United States. This inscription was first printed on banknotes in 1957 and is currently found on the reverse of every paper money. Beginning in 1990, the portrait's exterior was enhanced using extremely tiny printing or microprinting. Measuring just 0.006 to 0.007 inches, 0.15 to 0.18 millimeters in height, this printing repeats the United States of America. Every paper money, except the $1 bill, has it. The method of manufacturing. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing, a division of the Federal Department of the Treasury, creates and prints all paper money in the United States. In addition, the Bureau prints treasury notes, savings bonds, postage stamps, and a variety of other products. There is a secondary production site in Fort Worth, Texas, and the major factories in Washington, D.C. The Bureau prints about 38 million pieces of paper money every day. Of this production, $1 banknotes make up about 45% and $20 bills 25%. $5, $10, $50, and $100 are used to cover the remaining production costs. Despite being in circulation, the $2 bill is rarely printed since it is rarely used. The cost to produce each bill, no matter how much it is worth, is approximately 3.8 cents for the government. Paper money is produced by 65 distinct processes. The main steps are putting the master dice to use. Using extremely sharp engraving instruments and a magnifying glass, artisans manually carve the design into a piece of soft steel, referred to as the master die. Numerous lines, dots, and dashes that are chopped into different sizes and forms make up the portrait and images. A geometric lathe is used to carve the scrollwork in the borders, while a ruling machine creates the delicate cross-hatched lines in the portrait's backdrop. For each denomination bill, the signatures of newly appointed Secretaries of the Treasury and the Treasurer of the United States must be engraved on a fresh master die. The signatures are first made larger in photos. The signatures are then manually traced by an engraver using one end of a pantograph. The signatures are cut into the master dies by several diamond-tipped needles on the other end of the pantograph, which is powered by a series of links that mechanically minimize the motion. Creating the printing plate master. A thin plastic sheet is pushed into the heated master die to create an elevated impression of the pattern after it has been examined. An alto is created by bonding 32 of these elevated plastic impressions in an 8 down and 4 across pattern. After that, the master die is stored. An electrolytic plating tank is used to coat the plastic alto in copper. After the plastic is removed, a thin metal plate called a basso is left with 32 recessed impressions of the design. After that, the metal basso is examined, polished, and cleaned. Once it passes inspection, it becomes a master printing plate after being hardened on the surface with chromium plating. Printing the banknotes front and back. It is called intaglio printing, and it is the primary printing method. The reason this procedure is employed is its capacity to generate incredibly fine detail that is hard to fake and maintains legibility even after repeated handling. A rotary intaglio printing machine that operates at a fast speed is filled with a stack of 10,000 sheets of paper. The size of each sheet is designed to enable the printing of 32 separate bills on one sheet. To make sure the paper has the right security thread for printing the denomination, it is examined. Around the master plate cylinder in the press, a master printing plate with the appropriate denomination is fastened. Ink is applied to the revolving master printing plate. Only the ink trapped in the engraved design's recesses remains after the ink has been removed from the plate's surface using a wiper. Feeding a sheet of paper into the press allows pressures up to 15,000 C, 1034 bar to be applied as it passes between the master plate cylinder and a hard, smooth impression cylinder. The elevated picture is approximately 0.8 and 0.02 millimeters above the paper, caused by the impression cylinder forcing the paper into the finely etched lines of the printing plate to pick up the ink. Approximately 10,000 sheets are processed by this method every hour. After printing, the sheets are layered on top of one another. The fronts are printed with black ink after the backs, which are initially printed with green ink and then left to dry for 24 to 48 hours. Printing the serial numbers and the treasury seal in color. Following the intaglio printing process, the stacks are divided into 2 stacks of 10,000 sheets each, and any flaws are visually inspected. The color treasury seal and serial numbers are printed on the front of the bills using a letterpress that receives each sheet as input. At the same time, 16 serial numbers are printed. The next 16 sheets are printed before the machine automatically advances the numbers. Any sheet's numbers are spaced 20,000 apart from one another between bills. As a result, the bill with serial number 00000001 would be in the top left corner of the first sheet, and the bill with serial number 0020,001 would be below it on the same sheet, and so on. Every number on the second sheet would move by 1, resulting in 00000002 at the top left, 0020,002 below it, and so on. This way, the bills will have consecutive serial numbers within each stack, where the sheets are sliced into different stacks. Trimming and assembling the bills. Using a vertical guillotine knife, the sheets are stacked in groups of 100 and divided into 16 separate stacks of 100 banknotes each. At this point, any bills that are defective are changed out for star notes. The 100 bill stacks are then secured with paper bands. Control of quality. There must be stringent quality control procedures for anything as significant as money. Money that has flaws is terrible money that shouldn't be used. Before being employed, the raw materials must pass stringent checks in addition to the numerous examinations that take place during the printing process. Color, viscosity, thickness, and other characteristics of the inks are examined. Periodically, the completed bills undergo durability testing as well. To test the color fastness of the inks, some bills are run through a washing machine. To test the resistance to handling, other bills are repeatedly rolled into cylinders and crushed on end. A bill is thought to be able to be crumpled and folded up to 4,000 times before needing to be replaced. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.